Welcome back. All right, so today's prospect video, I am looking at Anton Frondell. Does your team need a forward? Does your team need a two-way forward? It might be Frondell. Now, this is, once again, with the draft being as wide open as it seems to be, I saw reports saying, hey, this guy's going to be a star in the NHL level. A couple little things he might need to work out, but otherwise looks like he's going to be a star. And then I saw another report saying, you know what? I don't know how much he drives the play and how much he relies on line mates, so maybe don't put him in that top 5, top 10 range. So there are differing opinions with Frondell. Now, playing this year for your Gardens in the Hockey Allsvenskan, which is the second level below the SHL, 29 games, 11 goals, 14 assists, 25 points. While playing on their Junior 20 program, 10 games, 5 goals, 2 assists, 7 points. He's been productive, and of course, playing in the second level Swedish league means playing against men, which might very well be something that a general manager looks at and says, hey, he could be useful. He's 6'1", 186 centimeters, 205 pounds, 93 kilograms. So there won't be any discussions about size and anything like that. Though he's seen as a player who needs to work on his game, he's very likely returning back to the Swedish league next year to work on his game. Now, he's seen as a strong player with a high hockey IQ. He thinks the game really well, doesn't make dumb decisions on the ice, which is important with a young player if you want to go out there and play. So when we talk about rookies coming in, and very often I'll do reviews and say, this guy doesn't look like a rookie. He looks like he knows what he's doing. Frondell might be one of those players that when he makes his NHL debut, we say, it's a seamless transition and it works. He has a good shot, bit of a deceptive shot, which being a top prospect, you kind of need that. And he's been productive even in games when he hasn't had a lot of ice time. So one of the things about playing against men, you might get bumped down a little bit. Look at all the discussions people had over Demidov when he was playing in the KHL and not getting as much ice time as people wanted him to. So Frondell has been able to make it work. Where in one report I saw he'd played a little over 13 minutes in a game, still had 2 goals, and creative on the ice. He improved as the season progressed, so one thing you're going to want to be looking at as a general manager is which way is this player trending? Frondell's trending in the right direction. Definitely been getting better. He plays on a line with Victor Eklund, and I'm wondering if with this draft seen as being not as deep as other drafts and maybe a little bit less star-studded, since Victor Eklund and Anton Frondell play on the same team, and have played on a line together. In fact, Frondell kind of argued his way into it, apparently. Could we see a team make a play to try to draft both? Could that happen? I'm just throwing that out there. I know it's very rare that happens, but it might be kind of fun to see that happen, wouldn't it? So, yeah, he improved as the season went along, played on the line with Victor Eklund, who's also seen as a very good prospect in this year's draft. He is not expected to play in the NHL next season. Seems like both he and Eklund are fine with that. And so, could be a good draft pick and more of a, not necessarily a this year player, more of a either the following season or maybe the year after. So if you have a general manager that doesn't have any patience, maybe Frondell gets passed by because you're looking for somebody who's actually NHL ready and could play this year. He's projected as a very good two-way forward in the NHL. I know it's a shock, right? A Swedish forward, plays down the middle, good two-way forward. We don't see that very often, do we? When's Florida going to end up with Frondell? This question I have. It's just throwing that out there. It's a European forward and good two-way forward, and they seem to like those in Florida. So that's the projection for him, and I do say that it bodes well. He's been playing against men so far. He's not playing in junior hockey. One thing to keep in mind, he did have a knee injury, which cost him most of the first half of the season. Not unusual in this year's draft class. There have been a lot of injuries to discuss, including, of course, Matthew Schaefer, who's likely to go first overall. So we'll see if anybody has any concerns about lingering effects or if he's going to have knee issues, that kind of thing. But it sounds like at this point he's been good. He had a strong second half to the season. As I said, he improved as the year went along. So maybe his knee's 100%. I'm sure all the tests were run during the combine. His skating is very good, but it's not as seen as being quite as elite. It looks like there's acceleration issues, but as I've mentioned in other videos and I mentioned in previous years when we've talked about the draft, I do think that gets overblown a little bit. I do think some of the skating stuff gets overblown, and so it does cause maybe a GM's looking at players who are very similar and says, well, this guy seems to have a bit of a better skating stride than this guy, according to the reports. But I don't think that's going to make Frondell drop. So it will be interesting to see where he gets drafted, because I've seen mock drafts where people have him at maybe third. I've seen him down as low as maybe fifth or sixth. I haven't seen that much further down. Elite Prospects seems to be an outlier at this point in time. Although I will say this with Elite Prospects, they have not released their final draft rankings at this point. Maybe he moves up in their final draft rankings. Once final draft rankings are released by everybody, I will definitely do a video on that. And yes, I will be doing a mock draft as well. I'll probably just do the top 10. I don't usually go through the whole first round. I feel like there's a lot of guesswork once you get out of the top 10 anyways. And so I'll probably do a top 10 draft pick mock draft at some point as we're leading up to the draft. But it sounds like Frondell would be a safe pick, where a general manager, again, as long as that knee injury is 100% healed, everything's fine. A general manager who's deciding between players might also look and say, Frondell's definitely going to be an NHLer. This one, there's a bit more risk with. Because Frondell's good as a two-way forward, at worst, he's probably a third-line player. And at best, he's going to be better than that. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below regarding Anton Frondell. Hit like and subscribe in the event that you may not have done so already. Hit like and subscribe, like I said. Not sure why I said that twice. I'll have to get that checked out. Anyways, I'll have to get that checked out. Thank you guys so much for all your support as always. I'm looking forward to this draft, and I'm looking forward to free agency not too long after. Thanks for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.